Hi, this is Poker with Student Ministry Essentials, and today's video short is dealing with the topic of student leadership teams, establishing and keeping leadership teams. Now in this segment I'm not talking about adult leadership volunteers. That's going to be discussed in a separate but critical topic called leadership lead teams. But today I'm talking about youth age leadership teams. Now over the years I've observed a pretty good size reduction in the number of student ministers who are establishing and or maintaining student leadership teams. I'm talking about middle school, high school, or college age who serve as leadership among their peers for the purpose of affecting and advancing student ministry. Now, if you already have a student age leadership team, that's great. Nurture that baby like it was your best friend. But if you don't have one, I want to convince you, I want to encourage you to do whatever is needed to prayerfully consider the value of student leadership teams for adolescents. Now, the work of securing leadership is hard work, and it's never ending. One reason youth ministers, many youth ministers, are letting their leadership teams die is not because they don't believe in the strategy, but rather many are just running at 90 miles an hour with their hair on fire, and they can't even seem to have time to stop long enough to punt and retool their student ministry for a leadership team. Now, another reason is that student pastors simply don't know how to practically and equitably secure a team without hurting feelings or seeming to being exclusive or encouraging some type of elitism among their youth group and making them pious. But it can be done, and the return is huge, and it's more than worth the effort. Think of it this way. If I was an investment broker offering you a choice between several investments that generated you a return ranging from, say, the negatives up to 5%, would you choose that? Well, maybe, but probably especially if that was what most of the investors you knew were choosing that option. But what if I were to offer you a single investment option that returned, say, 15 or 20% and that had never failed to out-achieve the standard investment? That sort of sounds like secret insider trading, but I guess really it is, because the system of ministry that I'm talking about implementing outperforms the others hands down. And I've never met a youth pastor, student minister yet who implemented student leadership successfully and regretted doing so. So the team, whatever you call your student leadership team, is not important, but it's patterned after the following ideas. First of all, as youth leaders, are we not about the discipleship and training business? Leadership youth should be learning what it means to be an elder or a deacon, some form of a servant. They learn this by living it out by examples and actually doing the work of the ministry. Number two, leadership students will sit on the sidelines unless they happen to have an outgoing and extrovert personality. So they need a platform of responsibility at church like they would have at school or on a ball club. A leadership team will help draw those committed core students who may be a little bit shy about his or her gifts or abilities, and will draw them into the work of the ministry. Number three, leadership students need a platform from which they can leverage the vision that's being cast by the youth minister. Let the students be your mouthpiece, and let that viral communication of theirs become their vision as well as your vision. And number four, students and parents need to know who it is that the youth leaders and the student pastor are pointing to as good examples. People who they can trust, who they can follow and go to if they have a question, someone their own age or maybe a bit older. Number five, student leaders need responsibility just like a team needs a captain to offer direction. Number six, students need peers who can carry their opinions, their likes, their dislikes back to the adult leadership as a sounding board. Number seven, a leadership team gives the youth pastor a means for basically a trial and error, if you would, without shouldering the whole burden on the youth leader. Number eight, a youth minister, no matter how young or how vibrant, will eventually need a sounding board which to float ideas, changes, concepts, maybe even event ministry planning. Number nine, a youth minister needs a safe sounding board that is invested in the ministry and proving it through their service. And number 10, a youth minister needs a smaller group, let's say 12, that's a good number, to invest in on a deeper level and spend more time with them and developing them and shaping them for ministry. Number 11, students need peers that they can look towards as designated leaders when times are tough or they have questions or crisis or personal hurt, and a youth team allows them that opportunity. Number 12, a youth minister needs a leadership team because it provides students kind of a safe layer of protection from outside or negative attacks that come, and a youth minister can use that lead team as a collective effort of trying something during delicate situations or controversial changes. And number 13, having a leadership team of youth shifts the emphasis from planning and executing event details to coordinating leadership and shaping young lives. And number 14, having a leadership team of students is an investment in future leaders, pure and simple. And number 15, having a leadership team reduces the risk of burnout. You have more help, more hands, and students are learning at the same time. And 16, having a student leadership team promotes greater amount of honest and age-specific evaluation, and that's what we want, is some honest feedback. Another benefit of leadership teams is simply that it's biblical. Moses delegated due to the sheer demand on his time in Exodus chapter 18. And the judges did the same thing when they delegated tasks in and outside of the temple. The disciples enlisted help in Ephesians chapter 4. It simply makes sense. It makes practical sense to involve young leadership in your ministry. What happens when one person tries to do it all? The maximum that can be done by a single person or a single committee is limited. It'll max out. It will burn out. Only a few people will end up doing the work. The others will be idea people. You will hit a wall. You know, the disciples and the lay people turned the world upside down after being equipped to do the ministry and set apart to fulfill that ministry. I like the illustration of lions and tigers. You know, a tiger can beat a lion in battle for food or territory. Why is a lion called the king of the jungle? Because one-on-one, a tiger will win, but three-on-three, lions win every time. Because of this, they've earned the title, king of the jungle. Lions instinctively know how to work together. They naturally journey together. They work together in prides to defeat their enemies, to meet their needs, to protect their young, as a team would. What a picture God's given us in this model as a lion. Equipping, training, collaborating as a team in an effort for the sake of survival and for ministry maturity. In the case of student ministry, too often what I see is a struggling lion working very hard, but still unable to accomplish all that he intends, all that he wants, or even all that's expected in his ministry. And that's because there's a disconnect, so to speak, from the pride. You know, the bottom line is ministers are simply not meant to work alone. We're not meant to protect or provide alone, but rather we're designed to work in and through and alongside of pride. I think the pride, in this case, is one part student leadership team, one part adult leadership team. Thanks for watching Essential Shorts, and if I can ever serve your ministry, please don't hesitate to contact me. Or if you have a problem or a question concerning an existing leadership team you have, or how to implement one at your church, let me know. I'd be glad to help. And hey, drop me a note and let me share your success stories with others. Thanks for watching Essential Shorts, and remember, what you do is important and it matters.